All right, when you hear record, you can go ahead and start.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Forum for Candidates running for City Council, representing cities in DeKalb County. There are City Council elections happening in Lithonia and Stonecrest. All candidates were invited to this forum. In the November 4th general election, these candidates will appear on the ballot. I am Hillary Lynn, Special Events Chair for DeKalb Dems, and on behalf of our organization, I welcome you to this important event. Tonight, we will hear from candidates on where they stand on public safety, economic development, housing, infrastructure, and more. We have a lot of great questions that our team prepared, and we hope to have enough time to take on some additional questions from the audience. We are streaming live on multiple platforms, and a recording of this forum will be available on our YouTube channel. The DeKalb County Democratic Committee relies on donations and volunteers to present truthful information to the citizens of DeKalb County. To officially kick off our evening, it is my distinct honor to introduce the Chair of DeKalb Dems, a tireless advocate for our community, Ms. Brandy Weish. Madam Chair, the floor is yours.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Hillary. I first want to start off by giving a special thank you to Hillary Lind, as well as our special events chair, as well as our special events team, including Gloria Moore, who were instrumental in planning this forum. We are grateful for both of you. Thank you for being here. I also want to thank Lawrence Nathaniel, Paula, Leona Perry, and the rest of the team for organizing the essential event for this community. We have a fantastic panel of candidates with us tonight, and we are grateful for their willingness to be here. I do want to, before I introduce our moderator, just take a quick moment. If you've been on any of these forums, you have heard me talk about the importance of voting in local elections. I recognize that we all focus on and have a tendency to be inundated with information at the federal level, at the state level, and sometimes can forget the incredible importance of making sure that we, with our values, have Democratic leaning officials in our local legislations. That being at city council, at mayor, we want to make sure that in DeKalb, across DeKalb, we are focused on making sure that we have Democratic leading folks at the local level. And this is really to ensure Democratic values in things like public safety, housing, very specific niche programs around our county. So as you hear us talk tonight, and as you hear our moderator walk our candidates through the panel of questions, you will get a sense of how important it is to make sure that we have folks that are really thinking democratically, even at these local levels. So I do want to emphasize the importance of making sure that we are voting in these local elections. Now, it is my honor tonight to introduce our moderator, Kip Carr. Kip is a true veteran of Georgia politics. He has managed political outreach across the country and served both as the 5th District Chair and the State Treasurer for the Democratic Party of Georgia. Kip currently serves as the first Vice President of the Georgia NAACP and serves as a member of the Brookhaven Development Authority. We are so honored to have his expertise tonight, and now I am going to pass it over to Kip to moderate for us this evening. Kip?
Madam Chair, thank you for that kind introduction, and we certainly appreciate your service. The City Council serves as the primary legislative body of a city, collectively responsible for setting policy, passing local laws, and adopting the city budget. Now, council members are the direct representatives of their constituents, working to address neighborhood concerns and ensure the effective delivery of city services. The council's leadership is critical in shaping the future of their city, from approving zoning for smart growth to funding the public safety departments that protect our communities. Tonight, candidates from Lithonia and Stonecrest are with us. Before we begin with our questions, a quick note on participation. A formal invitation has been extended to every qualified candidate in tonight's featured races. Now, you may notice that not all candidates are with us, or that a candidate may arrive after we have begun. As a campaign veteran, I can tell you campaigning is incredibly demanding and schedules can be unpredictable. Now, to ensure we have as much time as possible for our discussion, we will be focusing on the candidates who are with us at any given moment, and we will not be stopping to acknowledge arrivals or departures. We thank every candidate for their commitment to this process. Now, before we begin, let's review the ground rules that each candidate agreed to in advance. Each candidate will have 90 seconds to make an opening statement. Each candidate will have 90 seconds to answer prepared questions and follow-up questions. Each candidate will then have 60 seconds to answer any audience questions that have been submitted. Finally, each candidate will have 90 seconds to make a closing statement. It is stressed, do not call out each other by name. Focus on issues and policies. Before we begin asking questions, we want to give each candidate the opportunity to introduce themselves to you. Now, we will do this in alphabetical order, starting with the candidates for the Lithonia City Council. Ms. Inman, in 90 seconds, if you would, could you make your opening statement telling us what makes you uniquely qualified for this position?
Ms. Inman is not here. You can start with Ms. Grimes.
Okay, Ms. Grimes, you may go ahead.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you perfectly. You may
Thank
proceed.
you. Greetings, I am Tammy Grimes. I am the councilwoman for the 5th District here in the city of Stonecrest. Totally committed to District 5 within the city. I am passionate about people. Don't call me a politician, please. It is with honor and pride that I share that I am focused on issues that plague my constituents. Total transparency, totally trustworthy. I operate in integrity, intentional integrity. And I am truly an authentic advocate for my constituents. Things that they bring to me, things that I see, I work hard for. That is from the front door to their, whatever they do during the day, that's making sure that those staple items are taken care of. Paving is important. Lights are important. Code enforcement is important. Planning and zoning is important. Making sure that the budget is spent well is important. And hearing the pleas of the constituents and getting those things to the right department, to the right people, and doing that with a level of intentional integrity, absolute advocacy, totally authentic, and totally trustworthy, building relationships that will last throughout whatever comes up for my constituents. That's who I am, Tammy Grimes, 31 years in public education, so I know what serving is. I'm the incumbent who has been doing this work and is still wanting to serve Stonecrest. That's Tammy Grimes.
Ms. Grimes, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Our next candidate, Ms. Washington Smith, you may proceed with your opening statement.
I think I am unmuted. Hello. Good evening, all. I am Carmisha Washington Smith. I would first like to say thank you for inviting me to this forum. Although I received the invite a little bit late, I know how important it is to ensure that not only I'm able to speak and let people know who I am, what I stand for, and what I bring to the table, but it's important for the constituents of District 5 to know who I am and understand who I am. So if you hear a little noise in the background, please don't attribute it to a lack of professionalism, but contribute it to me making the best of the situation that I am in at this time to ensure that I'm here today. I am here to bring honesty, integrity, transparency, and progress with a purpose to the citizens of Stonecrest. I look forward to, when I talk about transparency, making sure that the citizens are aware and have visibility, a 365 view of what's going on in Stonecrest, ensuring that the constituents, their voices being heard. In a lot of cases, our voices have not been heard, and we would like to ensure that we have somebody in position who is listening, who is connected with the community, and that is me. Stonecrest deserves better than what we have. We deserve better schools. We deserve better roads. We deserve better leadership. And I am here because I see the void and the need, and I know with the help of those in District 5, we can make Stonecrest the jewel that it is. We can make Stonecrest the better Stonecrest that we deserve. Thank you so much again for having me, and I look forward to this conversation that we're going to have today.
Ms. Washington Smith, thank you so much for your opening statement. We will now go to Mr. Tompkins.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we sure can.
Okay.
Go right ahead, sir.
All right, I'm Douglas Tompkins. I'm the Vice President of Lithonia Downtown Development Association. I'm currently a candidate for the City Council of the City of Lithonia. I've been what they call me the man of the city. I'm at every city council member prior to being on the LDDA. I'm a business owner and property owner right here in the City of Lithonia. And as a business owner, speaking with a lot of the people that are here in the city, it's a disconnect with the city council. That's why I decided to run. We have vacant buildings that's been vacant over 20 years. They have deteriorated, mold, and everything in our buildings that people are charging high prices on rent and high prices to purchase. And it's basically these people holding our city hostage. And that's what I'm running. Our schools are ranked 4 out of 10. Lithonia Middle School is 4 out of 10. You can check it out. We have people putting dog parks up instead of focusing on Lithonia Park. When you go see other parks in other counties and other cities, they have lights, they have bleachers, they have concession stands. Our parks are used for nothing but events. And that's not what those parks are for. They're meant for our youth. People always say that our youth need programs in the city. We have none of that in our city. But we allow people to come in and have their festivals and events and dog our parks out, but we're not focusing on the youth. We have people that come over here and open up businesses that bought these buildings when they were $60,000. And they're holding this city hostage by not even opening up. If you come down Main Street in Lithonia, this city is a ghost town. And the ordinances are in place in City Hall. This ordinance is in place right now where you have buildings vacant for over 6 months to a year where the city can act on it. This ordinance is in place for code enforcement to come in and deal with these building issues right now. I just finished talking to one of the owners of the building earlier today, asking them, what is your plan with these buildings? It's been vacant for 2 years. It has to stop in our city. It has to stop. And that's why I'm running. I had a meeting up here 2 Mondays ago where I had probably about 6 business owners. And the people are fed up in Lithonia. They're fed up with it being called a ghost town, a dead city. I understand we're a small city, but I love being in a small city because we have better interaction with our chief police, the mayor, and everyone else. But it has to stop, and that's why I'm running. You have the same people running over and over and over again and not getting anything done. I'm very passionate about this city. I'm here to stay. So that's why I'm running. I'm Doug Tompkins.
Mr. Tompkins, thank you so much for your statement. And thank you, candidates, for respecting our time limitations. And now let's get right to the questions. Again, please limit your responses to each question to 90 seconds. I will read each question only once. Now, if you need the question repeated, please let me know. Question number 1. When a resident's issue with a city department hits a bureaucratic wall, what is your specific process for acting as their advocate to get a timely and effective response? We're going to start with Ms. Washington Smith.
Thank you again for the question. And this is a great question because this is a part of motivation for me to run for city council. I think it is important that when a resident brings an issue or has an issue, that we first approach it with empathy and understanding. And next, we gather the details of what's going on, what has happened, who, what, when, where, what time frame, gather those type of details. And then by utilizing the charter, we take a look and we find out, is this something that actually falls under our jurisdiction? And if it is, the process is to bring that issue up to the city manager so that the city manager can kind of help us look into the issue and highlighting the fact that I'm here to support in whatever way or shape I can as well. It's important through this process to keep the constituent in the loop because a lot of times a part of the angst and the unsatisfaction is not being kept in the loop. So it's important to be kept in the loop. It's also, if there's a short-term solution that we can implement, then we implement it. If we see that there's a gap in the process somewhere, then it's a part of my responsibility to push forward to ensure that that gap is closed. And once the gap is closed, I think it's very important to circle back around with the person who highlighted the concern or the complaint, letting them know that we appreciate them speaking up. And by them speaking up, it's allowed us to put measures in place that not only help them, but will help those that come after them in the future. And in the end, us introducing an ease of business for all constituents is our responsibility. And I think is very important, again, to make sure those lines of communication stay open with that constituent who raised that issue or complaint, and making sure that they are satisfied in the end with whatever we have put in place.
Ms. Washington Smith, thank you. Ms. Grimes, go ahead.
Yes, sir. When I think about issues that constituents bring to me, it's so easy to believe that in many instances, it can be a situation that's rectified immediately. And one thing I've done is built relationships with my constituents, and they understand that their responsibility is to, if they cannot get through themselves, is to contact me personally. And in my specific response, I have them in the loop of whomever I respond to. If it's code enforcement, I will put code enforcement on my response back to, in terms of communication, back to that particular person who can take care of the issue. Not a lot of bureaucratic walls or stalls, but just being clear about what the issue is. I am the one who was elected to do those things. And I do it with a level of sincerity, authenticity, and empathy when it needs that. There's a situation that happened in one of the multifamily dwellings that I represent. And it happened in such a way that I have been in the homes of these people, the apartments, and I've seen some of the issues that they have that plague them. And as their advocate, I have utilized every resource that I know to make sure things get done, such that when the apartment complex was purchased again, sold and purchased again, I made it my business to make sure that I connected with the owners, such that I pulled together a meeting that would address with our officials, those in DeKalb, where we're splitting that, having that intergovernmental agreement, and the owners and the management people there on the property. The constituents knew what was happening. They were there, such that we did bring some resolve to keep the constituents happy about somebody hearing them, listening to them, and taking a level of advocacy that they had not seen before. And so that's my specific process, to hear from them and take it where I believe it needs to go so that it can be beneficial, not just for one person, but for the group.
Ms. Grimes, thank you. Mr. Tompkins, your response.
I basically agree with what the candidate was saying, but I'll say this: as a member of the Downtown Development Association, I'm not in a position of authority or power to make things happen, but I've been in a position to suggest. So it was a situation where one of the convenience stores, the roof had collapsed, mold was coming through the back of the building. So I have a personal relationship with the business owners in the community. So with him, I put him in place with our code enforcement. Code enforcement didn't act on the situation, so now we have another situation where the person, I really can't speak on it, but it's about to go a little bit deeper. So me in the position of the DDA member, I'm able to get that business owner to solve this situation. But the main thing in this city is we need to get a better communication with the city council and the code enforcement, because the complaints have been coming in, but they're just not acting on it. Even this, I just spoke to one of the residents the other day. It was something simple. I know it's gonna sound crazy me talking about it, but the person kept stealing their trash thing out of their front yard, the little green thing. And then the DeKalb County charges them for replacing it. So I'm talking to them for the last few months, and it's happened 3 times. Why should this person have to keep buying another Kirby because people are stealing it? There has to be some kind of communication with DeKalb County and the city to stop this just silliness. It's silliness. And the businesses over here, my main thing is getting people to the right place with the right people. You have businesses that have been paying rent for 11 months because DeKalb County can't get the inspectors out here to follow up so they can open. There's no reason that a small business should be paying rent 11 months just because of the laziness and lack of communication. Let's get the communication going with DeKalb County, because our city is small. And if you make people pay rent 11 months, we'll never get other businesses trying to come out here because of that reason, because the word will travel. They'll be like, no, do not open a business in DeKalb County because their inspectors are lack. They never come out. They take their time. We had one business where I spoke to the owner. It was 2 cafes open next to each other. Code enforcement came to one and did not go to the other one. I mean, the inspectors, I'm like, you right there, do the job. Oh, I'll come back next week. You there, do the job. The owner of the building came to me, and keep in mind, I'm not a city council member. I'm just a man of the city. I'm just a DDA person. But these people come to me because I have a voice in the city. And the only way I can get things happening is to get on city council. And that's why I'm running, because the communication is not working from the residents and the business owners into that city hall. It's not working. And I'm here every day, 24 hours a day. I live in Lithonia, and my shop is in Lithonia, open from 9 to 10. When you have a problem, they come to me. And I'm listening, but it's a stressful thing. That's why I'm running for city council. They're fed up out here in Lithonia, and something hasn't changed. Thank you.
Very powerful responses to our first question. Thank you, candidates. Question number 2. Beyond policing, what community-based initiatives or services would you support to address the root causes of crime? And let's see, we are going to start with Ms. Grimes.
Absolutely. This is a great question, and I'm appreciative of all of them. But this one has a different kind of feel for me. As I stated earlier, I've been in public education for this is my 31st year. And I've seen a lot. And when I start to really reflect on crime, there's a root cause. And that root cause in many instances is poverty. And poverty can show up in many ways. Poverty can be the lack of everyday resources that you need. Poverty can also be the lack of education that you need. And when we don't have what we need for our scholars, K through 12, many of them are going to find a way or make a way that we may not be happy about. So for me, beyond policing, one community-based initiative that I would think needs to be addressed when we look at poverty is something that the city is already starting to work on, and that's a youth council. We have the city council, and yes, we do things, but we need to really, really be a beacon for those who want to do something, but may not understand, or those who don't even realize that they need something else to do. And so if we can grab the youth and grab our 11th and 12th graders, push them toward technical college where they can get a skill, trade, vocation. Let's face it, everybody's not going to a four-year college. They're just not. But if we can save those minds, even if they don't read on the level that we want them to read on, but they can go out to a vocational trade school and they can take apart, they got to read, but they can take apart a unit, put it back together, come to our house and make us live comfortably. I think it's worth it. And so with our partnerships, I would definitely love to see more. We used to have a program in Georgia that was called Go Build Georgia. And that was where the apprentice, they would take students and have them to work alongside them, and they come out with a skill or trade that no one can take away from them. And so I think for me, that would be one of the community-based initiatives is the school. And I know the school system has its own, they're their own entity. But to be able to say, hey, let's take funding sources that we can put together and push these kids towards something that may yield not an EF number, but a number that they have that they can put on their ID that says they are licensed trade masters of welding, carpentry, computers, HVAC, electrical. I had a student in Walmart, Miss Grimes, I'm going over here and I'm going to do welding. I said, baby, you're going to make more money than me. And he just laughed because he will at some point. And so I think that initiative of making sure that we partner with those educational resources that are here in our city to make our youth, and especially those who want to drop out, if we can reduce that dropout rate and get them over to a trade school where they can get a trade and a skill, I think it will all be worth it. And so that would be one of my initiatives that I would support to address the root cause of crime. Because if they home and we're at work, we don't want them in our homes when we're at work. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Grimes. Ms. Washington Smith, your response.
Thank you so much for that question. While I agree that one of the causes for the crime that we can avert is poverty. It's a contributing factor, but it's not the only factor. When I was growing up, my grandmother used to say, the idle mind is is the devil's workshop. And while working with young people that are high school age, I think it's important to start a little bit earlier because young elementary school, middle school kids are getting into crime these days because they do not have opportunities or things in place for them to get into rather than the crime. So with that being said, I would like to implement programs where we are optimizing whatever programs we currently have in place for after school for children, as well as introducing additional programs, performing arts programs, theater, sports, STEM. I've been in technology for over 25 years, and I have seen how introducing STEM programs to young people not only sparks their interest in the curriculum, but it also gives them a sense of belonging and being. And in a lot of cases, the children, when they don't have a sense of belonging or being, they're out there searching for something, and they can latch on to the wrong type of people when they don't have a sense of belonging or being. I would look at offering some type of conflict resolution. Some of the crime is because people don't know how to deal with conflict, whether it be young people or adults. So if we are able to offer training to let people obtain the skills needed in order for a conflict resolution, that would be helpful as well. And then when I talk about a sense of belonging for all communities, not just underprivileged, but all communities, everyone deserves to have a sense of belonging. Let's create a program where we link older with younger generations so that they can have a mentorship type relationship in order to have that sense of belonging. When people know that they are accountable to someone, when they know that someone cares about them, then it helps in those areas as it relates to crime. We would like to see more lighting around the city. I talk to constituents all the time, and when they talk about things that we can do, some of those things have nothing to do with the police. It has to do with our communities coming together. We need to introduce more opportunities where our community can come together, get to know one another, build some type of affinity so that they have a sense of connection with one another and responsibility to one another. That will help us decrease some of the crime in our city as well. It's important that in District 5, as well as all of Stonecrest, we have those type of opportunities, and they are presented in the city in whatever way or capacity or shape we can help present those opportunities. I think it's a part of our responsibility to do so. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Washington Smith. Mr. Tompkins, so what is your perspective on public safety in the great city of Lithonia?
I'm gonna give you a brief background of myself and where I come from, and then I'm gonna answer that question. I began as a barber when I was 15 years old. I worked at a shop called Mitchell Brothers. Inside this shop, Mr. Henry Mitchell and Willie Mitchell, all they did was cut the historical Black civil rights leaders. I got a chance to meet Muhammad Ali, Andrew Young, Bishop Tutu, Marvin Arrington. You name it, I met them. Anybody on that march, I met them. So being around these positive Black men kept me on the right path. Like I said, I started cutting when I was 15. When I was 21, I opened up my shop. And the discussions we're having now is the same discussion I hear in my shop every day. And I'm just speak frank, can I? The parents and the teachers are punks. I hear people constantly saying these YNs. We're so scared of our youth. They run the streets rampant. You got the youth running around here. I just seen a guy the other day walking around with an AR-15 down the street because it's an open carry law. The police officers say he can't do nothing because it's an open carry law. But where are the parents? I see kids coming down. My shop is open late over here. Sometimes we're here to 12 o'clock at night. And I see a 10-year-old walking down the street at 11:30. I pull him in the shop. What are you doing out here 11:30 at night? Oh, my parents said my mom at home getting high with her boyfriend. But the person I am, I pull that young man into my shop. Let's sit and talk what's going on. What's happening at home? We have to take the situation that's happening with our youth and get a hold on it. I tell every guy that comes in my shop, be a big uncle to these young men. That's what they need. And I agree. College isn't for everybody. I went to college, Alabama State. I left, opened up my shop. You have to get these trades and give these young people hope. If they're in these streets with no hope, they're going to run rampant. They're just going to do whatever it takes to get the dollar. I was a teacher at Bradley Preparatory Academy. It was a school for kids with learning disorders, autistic, bipolar, schizophrenic. But what I did, I went in there and developed an art program. And what I did, twice a year, we did an auction of my students' artwork. Some of my students' artwork went for $1,000. I used to have them in Spice House, the one over here on Panola Road and the one over there that used to be on Cascade. And when their artwork sold, they kept all the money. And that gave them pride and hope. And these are kids that's not going to make it out here in this world. They're not going to college, trust me. They're not. But it was that hope and something to come to school for. And that's what they needed. So we have to give these kids programs, and we got to just stop being scared of these. I hate hearing it every day. I tell them, stop calling our Black youth YNs. They're young kings, they're young queens. Because if you put that mindset in your head, your words are powerful. Now you're scared of these people on the street. You're not going to interact with them. You're not going to see what the problem is. You're not going to give them hope. And these people in the street, they don't have hope anymore. They don't have the education. They're low in. The people in our community are $25,000 average income here in Lithonia. It's how you going to survive in 2025 and your income is $25,000 average? Where's the hope? Where's the training for the parents? Where's the training for the kids? There's nothing out here. You can put up all these programs, but if you're not having people in there that's actually doing the work and just not there to get a check, it's not going to happen. People do stuff for titles now. I'm not in this for title. I don't have a title here, but I'm more. The Black Lives Matter you see on Main Street in Lithonia, I did that. And I told the police officer and everything, it's not something against the police officers because our Black youth need to know that their Black Lives Matter. You have something to do with your life. Just don't walk down the street. And another thing, they bring stuff in our community to take the hope away. I'm looking to ban all this. They got some new thing they doing now with a vape can that's kind of like a nitrogen. And they're selling these in our gas stations in our Black communities. What is that doing to our kids? What is that doing to our youth? We need to ban all that stuff out of our community. It can be done. If you go into these convenience stores and gas stations, as soon as you first walk in, it's nothing but vapes, weed stuff. Ban that out of our community. All you doing is poisoning our kids' mind, and you wonder why they out here running rampant. We got to take back control of it. And that's what I want to lock on. We're gonna ban all that mess in our convenience stores and gas stations. You go out there to Gwinnett or whatever, you don't see that in them gas stations out there. They put it in the back. But in our community, they put it right up front. We got to ban all that. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Tompkins. Mr. Woods, would you care if I repeated the question for you?
No, that's fine. Can you hear me?
Okay. Yes.
Can you
Yes. We can hear you and we can see you.
Okay.
So, Mr. Woods, beyond policing, what community-based initiatives or services would you support to address the root causes of crime?
Well, because there are, there are various kinds of crime in the community, I'm going to address theft. Okay. One of the crimes so far as theft, when you look in a community and you don't see any kind of programs that literally can attract jobs. To me, of course, back in the day, they used to have summer programs. They used to have, things whereas that you can kind of generate jobs, like have them go out there and clean up the streets or where they can get paid a decent amount of money, not pennies, but give them something that they can make some money, so that they can at least do some things for themselves, and then when you have a conversation with them, you can't talk down to them and you can't talk to them as if they are, they have no intelligence, because they have a lot of intelligence. When I worked at the airport, basically, I got a chance to, and supervising, I got a chance to observe, young kids, young boys, and girls, teenagers, well, older than teenagers because they're old enough to work, but you observe them and you watch their work ethics, you watch how they conduct themselves in communicating with you. A lot of them are very smart, just as the gentleman said earlier. They're very, very smart. How you talk to them, to me, has a great impact on how they're going to listen and how they're going to respond to whatever it is that you have to offer them. There's, you could say it's limited in our community when you don't have resources, that you can offer them. So it makes it kind of difficult. They say, you meet one, you teach one. Basically, as you come in and you approach them, well, if you meet them and you teach them, what can you offer them? What can you offer them? They're up there selling water when you get off at the expressway. I used to tell them to, they leave the mess. You tell them to pick up the mess, and then what they'll do is they'll pick it up that time. So when you see them doing things, yes, if you approach them in a actually intelligent manner and treat them as, respectfully, they'll listen, and a lot of them will respond. So basically, it's just trying to get programs of their interest to get them involved. Because if there's nothing for them to do, they're going to find something to do. And the thing that they're going to find to do is not going to be what you're going to like. So I think that, basically trying to establish some type of programs, to help, at least draw some type of interest, because it's very difficult, because from all these people come from different backgrounds. I used to tell a person that where I grew up, I was taught, don't steal. I was taught not to steal, taught to respect one another. Well, a lot of them are brought up that stealing is a part of them for their survival, So you have to try to figure out some kind of way to change that mindset because of the way that they were brought up. I remember my niece, she was brought up, and I saw her brought up, to steal, but she hit the hard road, but she wound up going to college and getting her degree, but she finally learned. It is very difficult. That's a difficult question to answer. But like I said, you just try to talk to one and just try to get some program and hope that it clicks, hope you can connect with them. That's about the only thing that I can really say about that particular topic.
Mr. Woods, thank you so much for that. Question number 3, council's relationship with city staff. How will you foster a working environment for our city employees while still maintaining rigorous oversight and accountability? And I'd like to start with the candidate from Lithonia first, Mr. Tompkins, if you go ahead.
Repeat the question again. I had to move. I'm actually still at work, so repeat the question again.
Sure.
I had to move
Sure,
back over here.
not a problem. How will you foster a working environment for our city employees while still maintaining rigorous oversight and accountability?
Really, what I'm finding out here in the city, the way our city is small. So it's 3 seats available. And my main focus is right here in this downtown area on Main Street. So the communications I'm having so far as the DDA member, that's what I'm hoping to be mainly in charge over. I think what the problem is, you have people not understanding you can handle this area, you can handle that area, I can handle this area if you're on the city council. Everybody can't handle everything. But if we have one council member that focuses on the area over by the amphitheater, those apartments, somebody that handles over here by Bruce Street, the complaints, and let me focus on this area, and then we can work as a team to come together as a unit. Everybody has to play their part to make this city grow. And that's the problem. I'm about to walk outside 1 second. When I walk outside here, the city of Lithonia, our city council has forgotten about this area here. They so focused on getting their constituents and their people in their areas that they haven't worried about downtown Lithonia. So when me getting in there, everybody get their area and let's make this city grow. Because downtown Lithonia hasn't grown in over 20 to 30 years. I can walk down the street right now, vacant. Roof falling in. I can come to this one right here. This one's vacant. They've forgotten what it takes to make it work. And it's a team. Everybody has to play their part as a team. So when I get in there, my main focus is let's be a team and everybody focus on their part. My focus is this downtown Lithonia. If we get this downtown Lithonia to grow, other people start coming in to want to be a resident over here. We have an issue right now where nobody wants to move in Lithonia. And you know what? First thing they say is, it's dead. Why should I move to Lithonia? You have no restaurants, you have no businesses open. So why do they want to move? So me coming in there, I want to play my part. I have one barbershop here in Lithonia. I've been here for over, I think, 8 years now, and I own my building. And what I found being the owner of a building, it brings that pride of ownership. And you have buildings over here where the people are being held hostage by owners charging 2 to 3 times the appraisal value. So we all have to play our part. You can handle the amphitheater area, those apartments, somebody else handle Bruce Street. We have to play our part. And it's nobody, everybody trying to do everything. You can't do everything. It has to be divided up into sections so we can make progress. That's the only way. And that's what I'm taking to city council when I go in there. Let's divide this area up. One person handle one thing, one person handle another thing, and let's get growth in Lithonia. That's the only way it's gonna happen. Because nobody's doing nothing right now. Nothing. Nothing. It's ridiculous. That's all
Thank
I got to
you.
say.
Thank you very much, Mr. Woods. Mr. Tompkins. Mr. Woods, if you can go ahead with your response to the question. Do you need me to repeat it, sir?
No, you don't have to repeat it.
Thank you.
I used to, I was a union president. Okay, I was a union president for 7 years, and one of the big things that, of course, was a big concern. I worked in a high school district for 35 years as a janitor grounds person, and I was union president for 7 years, and I was actually the steward over instructional assistants, secretaries, clerical, security, maintenance, grounds, and basically our responsibility was to speak for what they needed and for what they wanted. Okay. And one of the big things is that what you find is that helps individuals who's working in an work environment is give them some kind of reward system, give them something that motivates them to actually do that extra, talk to them, ask them, what is it that they need to make their job more efficient, to make the job, a better working environment. You have to sit down and talk to these individuals to try to get an understanding as to what their need is. And then once you figure out what their need is, then what you do is, because the council's responsibility is to help, with supplying the needs for the individuals, as city employees in there. The other officers they're there for that responsibility, but it's also the responsibility of the council members actually to help provide, whatever money resources that's necessary to help get them what they need. That's important. To me, that's very, very important. The other thing is that, what I found was that, and like I say, sitting down and talk to them, and that's like either as a group, or as an individual, because that helps make them feel that they're important, because they are. They're very valuable. They're valuable on a day-to-day basis, and they have to feel that way. If they don't feel that way, it makes it very difficult to try to get that extra done. That really feeling good about what you're doing, and you're just going to give them that. People are going to give them that extra. I find that to be very, very important. So to me, it's giving them a work environment that you're having a conversation and you're helping to give them what they need in having a conversation. I think that makes a better work environment, and it's good for the city. It's good for everybody, because they are the workers, along with what council members that are doing, what everybody is doing. We're all workers. We're all one big family. So that old saying about one big happy family, that's what you want. You want one big happy family. Everybody working together, giving each other what they need, and talking, communicating, even going out to even having lunch or going out to have dinner. You know what I'm saying? It's just having that good feeling, that we're all here for that one sole purpose, and that is to make Stonecrest a great city. And to me, the only way you do that, you bring everybody together and make everybody feel like that they're important, that they're needed, so that's what I would feel would be necessary. And that's all.
Mr. Woods, thank you. Ms. Grimes, your response.
Yes, sir. Relationships matter. Please know that. And they have to matter on both sides. Yes, being elected means that we are elected, but it does not mean that we can take anybody for granted. When you talk about fostering respectful, professional working environment in a city with the employees, That's where the sausage is made. That's where you get your butter from the duck over there on that side of the house. Yes, we have a side that we as electeds must take care of. But to know and to have employees know, not only feel, but know that they are valuable in their roles in the city, understand that the work that they do does not go unnoticed, understanding that each thing that they do, even though it's part of the job description, they have expectations of themselves. Some people have that intrinsic piece that they're going to do good because intrinsically that's what they want to do. That's not everybody, but it is for the city of Stonecrest. I've not met folk who don't want to be in the city, who are in the city. The workers that we have, the employees that we have, the staff that we have, they take those responsibilities very seriously. And the ones who are in the position to reward, incentivize, come alongside, they do. We have a great list of things. One thing that has started that I just find it so valuable because it touches 2 points. We have days where we walk with certain departments. You walk with code enforcement, you walk with the elected officials, you walk with the city clerk's office. That's two-pronged because you're getting your steps in. And Stonecrest has a focus on making sure that our employees are healthy. We have a wellness room now that employees can use to make sure that they're taking care of their bodies as well as giving a great product to the city from their working. Another thing that has come about that I think is really, really good, that kind of spoiled all of us. During the pandemic, we were working from home, and I sure miss having that Wednesday where I didn't have to check in as an educator all day with the kids. The kids had time off. We call it a flex day, and that's good for the soul. That keeps our employees at a point where they can take a day, let folks know that I'll be working, utilizing my flex day, but I can be reached if needed. And so my philosophy on making sure that our employees understand that we respect them. They're the ones who make the environment professional by the work that they do because they're community facing. We are too, but daily they're community facing. Making sure that that environment that is within the walls of City Hall is a place where people want to be, and that the things that they're being honored for, not only their paycheck, but they have the camaraderie and they have the respect for each other and they have the expectations that what we want to see, what should be shown, is absolutely shown, and the people are happy about it. Those who, again, know what that intrinsic value of being respected and being respectful, many of them work in the city of Stonecrest. And for that, that's my response for making sure that we are fostering a respectful, professional working environment for our city employees.
Thank you. Ms. Washington Smith, your response.
Okay, you can hear me, sorry. So my response to that question is relationships is the new currency. I say that to the young people that I mentor all the time. Relationship is the new currency. It's very important to build meaningful relationships. When it comes to relationships with the city staff in Stonecrest, to my understanding, all things have to go through the city manager. So the chain of command is very important. However, in my field now, there is a chain of command as well. I work with a number of different groups who don't report up to me, per se, but they do work that impacts what I'm trying to or attempting to deliver. And it's very important that they understand that everything they do is appreciated. It's very important that they understand the speak up culture that I promote. Speak up. If there's something happening, speak up. If there is anything that I can do, then I will be there. I also implore the listen up culture. When people speak up, then you listen to what they're saying. I think it's very important to, yes, have walks and healthy routines in order to make sure the body is healthy, but the mind has to be healthy as well. So we have to create a space where it includes healthy minds, the ability to, promote mental health and awareness. We have to have those type spaces. We have to make people know and feel secure and let them know that if something goes wrong, I mean, none of us are perfect. If something happens and they may have made a mistake, then it's okay for them to say that I made this mistake. It's okay for you to help them through the mistake. So I think those type things are very important. I also think there are opportunities for improvement. We should make sure that our staff have opportunities for improvement and promotions, those type things. We have had lots of turnover in the city of Stonecrest as it relates to the staff. And I would like to utilize my expertise to assist the city manager in trying to ensure that we minimize or limit the turnover that we've had in the past. I believe that every one of us should have a focus on the people of Stonecrest. All of our common goals should be doing what is best for the people of Stonecrest. And that goes from the head, from the top to the bottom. We have to lead with love. As we say in my company, we lead with love, letting everybody know that they are important, what they do is important, and we see them. When somebody does something well, then we have to acknowledge the thing that they do well. We have to make sure that they know that they are just as important as the next person. And again, if we all have the same common goal, and that is to have a better Stonecrest, because Stonecrest deserves better. If that is our goal, then again, we should be working harmoniously in order to achieve that goal. Thank you so much for that question.
You are so welcome, Ms. Washington Smith. The next question is specifically for our candidates for Stonecrest City Council. As you know, the city of Stonecrest has experienced significant, well-publicized conflicts within its government in recent years. As a council member, what is one specific actionable policy you would champion to restore public trust and ensure ethical, transparent governance moving forward? We're going to start with Ms. Grimes.
Absolutely, absolutely. So as it relates to things that have happened in the past, we all understand that we have to keep pushing forward. We can't reside in what has happened. We have to look at the things that have plagued us and pledge to move forward so that we all can be Stonecrest proud. We did do a charter change to ensure that we had the best form of government that may shore up some things that may not have been as strong as they could have been at the beginning of Stonecrest standing up. Here recently, what we have done as it relates to hearing our constituents, it was actually using our home rule ability to make sure that the internal auditor position that our charter once stated had to be an employee of the city. And when you find that things don't work the way you intended them to work, push forward so that you can be Stonecrest proud. As of Monday night, it's our city council meeting, Again, we evoked our home rule so that the internal auditor, we'd have options. Not necessarily would it have to be just an employee. It could be a contracted position. And so the next steps to making that come to fruition have already begun. Got to get it out of the local seat and get it to our state so that the things that need to be done to make that happen. So we're taking steps to make sure that we are moving Stonecrest forward. Another thing as it relates to our financial piece, we've talked about over and over, and we are being very intentional about making sure that we have a cadence when our finance director reports to us, when that accounting process is done, and when that gets to council and when that gets to our city website. So pushing constituents to that city website, our city website, to make sure that they understand and they see what is happening with our dollars, that's a great way to continue moving Stonecrest forward and to be proud. Stonecrest is doing what Stonecrest needs to do right now, listening to our constituents, listening and having conversations with our directors, among ourselves, to say, hey guys, how can we do this thing better so that we don't get as many questions around things that can be done better, where there is no, I'm not gonna say no, but we minimize, we reduce the issues or even the stench of wrongdoing in the city of Stonecrest. That to me will help restore the trust that Stonecrest constituents had when the city was set up. And that's all we're looking to do, is to continue with transparent governance and move our city forward. And I'm through with that question. Thank you.
Ms. Grimes, appreciate your response. Ms. Washington Smith.
Thank you so much for that question. As many of us know, there is a cloud of corruption that looms over the city of Stonecrest. And what we're looking to do is take steps in the direction to remove that cloud of corruption. One of the things that I would look to do is, when we talk about, again, transparency has come up so many times, we should have a stakeholder 360 view of what's going on in our government. There should be an advisory committee, a COE, a Center of Excellence, where we have people who look at what we have in place, our ordinance, our budget, so forth and so on, and they determine, or they pay attention to whether or not we're doing what we say that we're going to be doing, or what we say we should be doing. When it comes to advisory groups, if we're making decisions as it relates to public safety, transportation, youth initiatives, or senior initiatives, we should have groups of people from our community that's playing a role in those decisions, and how and when we allocate budget to whatever those initiatives are. It would also be very helpful for us to require monthly updates when it comes to the funding of projects. What's happening in those projects? Are they red, amber, or green? Meaning, are they on task? Are they behind task? Are they trending in the right direction? And this should not be something that each constituent has to call and ask for. It should be readily available. There's so much technology in this day and time that allows us the transparency that our residents, constituents, taxpayers of Stonecrest is looking for. Put that information in the dashboard. If they would like to see it, they can go and pull it themselves. I think those things are very important. If we have a project that is off target, is there a catchback plan? Meaning, do you have a plan in place to catch it back up, to get it back on target? Those type things should be transparent to the community, to those people that is impacting. And when it comes to major decisions as it relates to our budget, there should be a public review to make sure that proper assessments have been done, and those people who are affected, which is for the most part many of us in Stonecrest, those people who are affected, they should be in the decision-making process before major decisions are made. When we bring information to the forefront and we make it available to all, that shifts the power from behind the closed doors to visibility, so that people, citizens, are aware and they're allowed to see what's going on, and they're aware and able to play an active role in what has been going on. Again, transparency is key here. Transparency is key to removing that cloud, like I mentioned before, of corruption from over our head and clearing the cloud away, allowing us to see the sunshine, because we're able to see everything that's happening, that has happened in the past behind closed doors. So we're able to see it up front, and we're able to understand, and not only understand, but have a part in the decision making in order for us to get to that certain place. Thank you so much.
Ms. Washington Smith, your insightful response is so appreciated. Mr. Woods, your turn.
Okay, thank you for the question. It's interesting. You know, we've been hearing about transparency for years. I mean, when we went through what the other mayor had done, and when the new administration took over, they spoke about transparency. Okay, and so it's a good word, sounds good, but behind the word there should be action. Okay, it should be action. And when I'm going to say what should be action, I walk up and down the street and I tell people this: you want to know what's going on in your area, or what's not being done, or what should be done, and all that, just walk around your community, take a walk. You know, the simple things that you think are so simple should be done. And I'm talking about, if I'm walking down in my house and there's trash all on the floor, I mean, and I see the trash and I keep walking over it every day, guess what? Well, who's supposed to clean up the trash? Why isn't this trash cleaned up? Why isn't bottom line is that, the streets are not done exactly right. To me, we are visual people. We're visual people. And that means that what I see helps me understand that we're getting results from our taxpayers' money. We're getting results. When I was, like I say, union president, we were in meetings all the time. You're in meetings all the time. You're talking about this stuff all the time. My big question is, really, what are you talking about in the meetings? Because I don't see a lot of the results when I walk up and down the street. See, that's the only thing I can kind of connect to. I can only connect to what I see. What goes on behind closed doors, those people, they know what's going on behind the closed door. I just want results. I just want results from the money that is, taxpayers' money, that says that, when I walk up and down the street and I cross the street and the traffic is going crazy, why can't I have a light where I need a light? Why can't I have a drive, or why can't I have a sidewalk to walk on, where I need a sidewalk to walk on? Why do I have to walk in the dark in the street, okay, where there's no lights? These are things that have been talked about. And my vision and what I've seen, you don't see it getting done. And to me, that's the biggest problem. Transparency is truly important. And you want to see, I was looking at the report, some of the financial, the companies that work for the city. And I was watching that some of these companies are getting $1 million checks, and you say, okay, what do? Do we get reports on, the results of the money that the city is spending. These are the results of this money that's being spent. Do we get that? No, we don't get that. You know, when you go to a board meeting and you want to speak on issues, you're shut down. You're shut down in a way, whereas that sometimes the administrator doesn't understand the frustration of the resident, the constituent, their frustration. Their frustration is, I don't see things visually getting done in my community. And that's what's important. That's what we're supposed to be about, getting things done. You could talk about them all day long, but getting them done. And I think that what is necessary to get confidence in the community is to get those simple things. I mean, they're not simple because there's a cost behind it. You know, there's a cost. So if you can't do it, then explain to me as a constituent why you can't give me a sidewalk, why you can't give me these lights, why can you give this over here $1 million? And guess what? What's the result of it? You know what I'm saying? So to me, go up and down, go up in my community, and I will bring to my constituents, because I look at it like this. All 5 districts, we all are supposed to be one. That means that what you need in District 5, what you need in District 4, what you need in District 2, District 3, we're all supposed to be talking about this and helping each other get what our residents need in these areas. Talking to each other says, you know, this is what we need. Let's see, how are we going to get this? You know, talk about it. That to me, and people see the results of it, that helps build confidence in your people, in your constituents, and your residents in your districts. You know, that's the way I feel about it. That to me is what will bring, you know, people to trust more of what they're paying for. You know, I mean, if I'm giving you some money, you know, most of us want to see what we're getting for our money. You know, we want to see it. You know, you can talk about it all day long, you know, but guess what? I get tired of people talking to me. Well, we're going to get this for you. We're going to get this for you. We're going to get this for you. I get tired of people telling me what they're going to give me, and I keep looking at them in the same window and ain't nothing happening. You know, that's not good. We got to change that. We got to get something done in the community. Those simple things, sidewalks, you know, how it looks. And even getting, maybe I don't really understand all of the responsibility of council members. I was told a long time ago that each council member is like the mayor of their community, which means that you go into your community and you see things that have to be done. Your responsibility is to make an effort to get the people, the business people on board, because I can go into a restaurant and see is nasty, dirty. Is that a good reflection for Stonecrest? No, it's not. They got to get that straight. Something's got to be done. They got to do it. They got to trim their bushes. They got to do something, because it doesn't look good at all. It's not a good picture for Stonecrest. Why do I want to come into a community when I get off of the expressway and I see bushes growing up long and the curves got grass and dirt coming up out the sewer? You still got potholes all over the place. Something needs to be done. And that's what I'll leave it with.
Okay, Mr. Woods, thank you very much. Now for our question for our Lithonia City Council. Mr. Tompkins, you stated tonight throughout the forum that there's been some significant challenges with downtown development. So I don't need to ask you is there a challenge. My question is, what is one specific bold action that you would take to either fix the relationship that I think you mentioned that you are a member of the DEA, so this is perfect for you, or bypass it to justify, to finally create the visible change that residents have been demanding?
I've gone to City Hall numerous times, and I've told them the plan and what needs to happen. One, very simple. When you get a business license here in Lithonia, it's a line on there where you say the hours you're going to be open and the days you're going to be open. So when you say you're going to be open 5 days a week, 8 hours a day, and then you're opening up a restaurant, and then you come over here and you open up on Saturday as a bar lounge, and you open up at 9 o'clock, we're gonna take your license. Because we agreed when you came in here for a business license, you were gonna open up as a restaurant or whatever you said you was gonna open. I don't care if it's whatever, a boutique, a salon, or whatever you're gonna open. When you said on this business license, you're gonna be open 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, and you're not doing that, we're gonna take your license. Plain and simple. Because that little hustle you're doing, you should have just kept that at home in your basement. You're not meant to be on Main Street. The other plan that I'm putting together, City of Lithonia actually has funding right now. We have buildings that have been vacant for 10 years. We can come to these owners and say, look, your building has been vacant for 10 years. We're going to get a franchise business that we know want to come out here. But your building is so run down. Your roof, your electrical is outdated. Well, we're going to say, all right, here's a franchise business. We're going to get that franchise business $50,000 as a bonus to come out here, and we're going to help you with your build out. Instead, because a mom and pop, we don't have the traffic out here in Lithonia. I told them before, you can't have a mom and pop come out here to Main Street. They're not going to make it. It's not enough traffic. So we have to have businesses that have a name. And the only way we can do that is say, look, we're going to give you a grant or give you some type of funding to come out here to Lithonia on Main Street, and we're going to help you build these buildings out that the owners have just let deteriorate. Majority of these buildings over here, I've been on code enforcement's behind about the situation of the buildings out here. We got to get code enforcement more involved. I understand she's doing a job going around to the residential areas, but we have to get, really we need 2 code enforcement officers here in Lithonia. One to handle residential, one to handle commercial. Because you have a building next to me right now. His roof is leaking so bad, I actually went in there last year. He had little kiddie swimming pools in the building catching water. That mold will turn to black mold and come into the buildings next to it. But our code enforcement has to get involved. So if we get code enforcement involved and force these people to sell, it can make it happen. And then at the same time, you have people that's asking 3 times the amount of the appraisal value of the building. Here you have a building that's only maybe worth $250,000, but you want $700,000, $900,000 for a building where the roof is leaking and all this. Code enforcement got to get involved in that because they're holding the city hostage. So if we get these business licenses in order, snatch these business licenses from people that's just holding on because they bought a building. I want to say maybe I've been out here 8 years, so probably about 16 to 20 years ago, they bought these buildings at $60,000. You can pull up some of the addresses I have. I know some of these buildings went for $60,000. So they're just holding it hostage, waiting for a movie to come through. They pay their taxes. We got to force these people to sell at market value or to rent it out at the value. We have the only beauty supply that was here in downtown Lithonia. They're closing out because the owner of the Wayfield Plaza went up to their rent, almost doubled it. Now we have no beauty supply in our community. Now, when folks move a beauty supply in the community, that's a problem. They don't go anywhere. Churches, liquor stores, and beauty supplies, they stay here forever and they're gone. And it's a simple plan. Get rid of these people that's just holding city hostage and force these people to keep it in a market value. And it can be done. I've been to city council numerous times about the plans, and it can be done. That's it.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, candidates, for our first set of questions. We now will move to audience questions. And we now have a question on civility. As the toxicity of national politics trickles down, what is your specific strategy for lowering the temperature and fostering respectful public discourse at local city council meetings? And we're going to start with Mr. Woods.
That's a good question. That's a real good question. To me, just it comes down to respect. You respect one another. I thought about that question, and I said that what needs to happen, and the hope is in doing this that people are listening, and people understand that what we're trying to do is create a comfortable, relaxed environment where people can speak their concerns with respect, and the response, that they don't get or may not get, is they know that they're being heard, because that's a big thing. Know that you're being heard. They respect the time frame that's put in place that you have to take. You got 2 minutes, 3 minutes to talk. Respect the 2 and 3 minutes. But I look at that, if you speak at the beginning of the meeting and say, look, we understand, that you have concerns, but we seriously are just requesting that you all abide by the time frame respectfully, because we have a lot of people here with a lot of concerns that want to have a chance at it. And so the hope is in setting up that environment where it's an environment they feel that they know they're going to be heard and know they're not going to be cut off, but know that they have to be respectful and they're actually presenting what it is a concern of theirs. That's a little bit of a journey sometimes, but I think in the long run, I think it works, because people, to me, respect. That's what I've always have a firm belief. There are people, who don't give a doggone about, they want you to, take them for whatever it is. They don't feel as though that they want to be heard, and they want to keep talking and keep talking and talking. And bottom line is, when you have those type of situations, the best way to deal with individuals like that is to, hopefully, speak to them and say, look, you've gone beyond your time. We would really appreciate it, if you would be very considerate of other people who are wanting to speak. And I guess there is a button where the mic is to be cut off. You know what I'm saying? And it's not being rude. What you're doing is you're actually helping a person understand that there is a system here. And we want everybody who's here to have an opportunity to speak. And you're just being a little bit disrespectful by trying to take over the meeting. And that's not going to be acceptable. But you're letting these people know this in advance. You let them know in advance the thing that you need to do to have order in a respectful way. People recognize it. So I think that, just presenting yourself in a professional manner and presenting to the audience that this is what you expect of them, that's the hope that you get that response and that environment. Because if it doesn't happen, then you have to go the next step, and nobody wants to go the next level of basically, just cutting somebody off, because you don't want to do that, because it does create a more of a uncomfortable environment, not only for the person that's doing it, but for the people that are in the room, and so that's just my thought pattern in regard to that question. Okay.
Okay, Mr. Woods, thank you. And I apologize for our audience questions. I should have stated this earlier. If we could get 64 responses, 60 seconds. All right. And let's see, Ms. Grimes, you will be next for civility.
Thank you. And so one thing I'm proud of is that the city of Stonecrest is a city of civility. We have undergone the challenges of making sure that what GMA, Georgia Municipal Association, put in place for us to be recognized as a city of civility, we've done that and we've got that designation. Being considerate, managing your emotions. Silence does not mean weakness. Being kind, actively listening. Think about the impact of what you're saying. Ask questions. Not just any questions, but questions to learn information. There's a piece that's called Q-tip. Quit taking it personally. And then have empathy for anyone who is speaking or sharing their concerns. So I feel certain that we may not get all of them every single time, but we have all made a commitment and a pledge to make sure that we honor those 9 pillars of civility. It would be, in some instances, good if we could answer every question that is asked when we have public comments, but that's just not possible. But we do have an opportunity to get public comments, the response and the feedback back to the council that is sent to us, and then we are able to send that out if it is something that needs to have immediate feedback. But our constituents who speak all the time, they have access to their council members. And it's always good when what is being said at the podium can then be addressed and the constituent can be comfortable with the answer. It may not always be the answer that they want, but at least we're participating in the 9 pillars, we're actively listening, and we're being kind.
Okay. Mr. Tompkins.
All right. Oh, excuse me. Like I said, I'm a owner of a business right here on Main Street. So I always tell everybody in my city, I'm not hard to find. And that's my campaign. I'm not hard to find. So here in the city, I have people come to me I'm not even on city council. I'm just Downtown Development Association. I really have no power. All I have is a voice to take from you to the city council. So if I'm outside in front of my shop, I might sit 30 minutes with a resident, just hearing about their problems with the buses or the park or the homeless situations with people sleeping outside in front of a building. I sit out here and talk to the people. So if we can't cover things in our meetings, I'm here at the stop. We actually, it's a crazy story because I'm listening to some of the other candidates speak from Stonecrest. It was a crazy situation we had at one of our DDA meetings where we were infiltrated by let me see if I can say it, by one of the ex-mayors of Stonecrest. And he tried to infiltrate one of our meetings. And we sat there. He actually showed up late. And we sat there, we let him speak. But I told him, look, the meeting is over at 6:30 and I have to go. And he thought I was being disrespectful. I'm like, well, dude, you showed up at 6:15 and tried to come with a whole presentation. You only allowed 5 minutes to speak. I understand you feel like you have this type of respect that you think is due, but I treat everybody on equal plane. I don't care who you are. Everybody's equal. Because you feel like you're entitled, you only get 5 minutes with me in that meeting. And you're not going to come and do a whole 30-minute presentation in that meeting. But if you want to come to my shop afterwards, my door is wide open. This is a barbershop. We have political conversations, talk about the city all day, every day. So I'm not hard to find. And that's how I handle my situations. When in those meetings and you sign up and you got 5 minutes to speak, you're going to get my full attention for 5 minutes. And if we can take that even further outside of that meeting, you got my full attention in. And let's progress and make this city better. But I do recognize BS when I seen it that day.
Okay, Ms. Washington Smith.
Thank you so much for that question. I think we as leaders, we're held to a higher standard. And when it comes to lowering temperatures, it's our responsibility to not meet a person where they are, but to implore tools in order to lower temperatures, to de-escalate situations, to listen, not just to be hearing, but listen to understand, and to also show some empathy. Let people know that I'm listening to you. I hear your concern. I would like to understand better. Those things go a long way in de-escalating situations. And when it comes to respect, you have to give respect. And the old saying, you give respect to get respect. I think it's important to give respect. Sometimes you're not going to receive the respect that you believe that you should be receiving. However, you have to continue, especially as leaders, you have to continue providing the respect, giving the respect, and also attempting to, like I said, de-escalate. When I was canvassing, I've been able to put into practice some of these de-escalation skills. When people start talking about how they're disappointed in what's going on in the city and how they've submitted their concerns and they had no feedback. What I did was I let them know that I hear your concerns. I have your concerns listed. And yes, I understand. And I tried to, and in many cases I did, help to de-escalate the situation, letting them know that we're all in this together and taking the opportunity to let them know that I know it may seem that it is about the people that our leaders know, and those are the people whose voice are heard. But once I am your council person, then it will no longer be about the popular people. It'll be about all the people in the city of Stonecrest. All of our voices should be heard, regardless of our status, who we know, and that should take a back seat. So again, when it comes to de-escalating and ensuring that there is respect being fostered in our meetings, we also, I'll take it back to my saying that being trained in conflict resolution. If you're trained and you understand that what people are saying, it could be their emotions overtaking them. Don't take it personal. You're there to do a job, and our job is to serve the citizens of Stonecrest in the best possible way that we can. Thank you so much.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Washington Smith. And I believe that that concludes our audience questions. We will now move to our closing remarks. And I would like to start with Mr. Tompkins. And for your closing remarks, you have a 90-second limit for your closing. Go ahead.
First, I want to thank you for inviting me on here. This is actually my first time ever doing something like this. And it's great hearing some of the other issues and different perspectives from some of the other candidates that's out there in Stonecrest. And I've seen how Stonecrest has grown, and I'm trying to get Lithonia to grow. And that's why I'm running. I've been on the DDA for some years now. And I'm tired of just talking. It's time to walk. That's one of my favorite artists, Anthony Q. Sometimes you got to stop talking and start walking. So that's why I'm running. This city has been in the same situation since I've been here and prior to that. It was a meeting that we had not too long ago at City Council, and there was an old resident from probably about 25 years ago. And he came into City Hall and he said, look, I came back home and ain't nothing changed. And for a city of Lithonia, one of the oldest historic cities in Lithonia, to have no growth from what I'm hearing, I've only been here 8 years. And it's sad. Atlanta came after Lithonia. Lithonia was here first. And Lithonia needs to grow. It needs to get better. And the only way it's going to happen is with better leadership and somebody that has pride and love for this city, that's here in this city every day. I know you say people are here, but we don't see them. There's maybe 1 or 2 city council members I see every now and then. They're not here. The only time they're here is if it's a big event. We need people here to see what's going on. I have to go to City Hall and tell them what's happening on the city. Oh, did you know we had a new business over here, a new church? They don't know. I'm here. I see what's happening. I see the problems. And that's what this city needs, somebody that is involved and linked in to this city. I see the situations that's happening with the buildings, the businesses, the price gouging, how the city is being held hostage. I know we have our funding problems because our city is small. We don't have a lot of land value and property value, but it's ways we can get around that to make the city grow. And every place I've been on, I had a shop near Moreland. I had a shop downtown. And I'm seeing all those areas grow because of that centerpiece of the business market that made people want to move into that area. and it sparked development in that community if we have better grocery store, better entertainment. We need access to everything out here in Lithonia, and if people are holding the city hostage, the only way they're going to do that is enforcing the laws that's in place, and they're not doing it. So we have to put somebody in there that already has a focus and a goal and what needs to be done. And I've done it. Even
Mr. Tompkins, thank you. Ms. Washington Smith.
Thank you so much. I first would like to say thank you for having me this evening. I appreciate the opportunity to speak with you and to speak to the citizens of Stonecrest. I would like to encourage the citizens of Stonecrest, District 5, to look forward to a change. What I bring is something new. It is past time for us to continue doing the same thing and expecting a different result. Stonecrest deserves better. We deserve better leadership. We deserve better schools. We deserve better grocery stores. We deserve better options to enhance our quality of life. We deserve fun things. I'm a fun person. I like having fun. And we deserve to do things that bring us joy and to have things in our community that brings us joy. I am a committed, confident, compassionate, competent, and capable person to fill this seat in the city of Stonecrest, to speak on your behalf, to listen to, and not only listen to, but act upon those needs that you have, those concerns that you have for your community, to help us increase our safety in our community, to help us with building affinity amongst our community. We need something new, something better, and we deserve it. Stonecrest deserves better. Stonecrest deserves to move in a more positive direction. We deserve to see development where it makes sense. We deserve those things. So with that being said, please vote for me when it comes to our City Council District 5 election. I will bring not only all those positive attributes as a leader, but I will also bring my knowledge and expertise that I have in getting things done. I'm a fixer. I'm known as a fixer. You bring me a problem, I get the problem fixed. And I know it's not just me. It's something for all of us to work together. This is not just a me. When you vote me in office, you're voting we in office. This is our city. And we should have a say in what's happening in our city, in our lives, the things that's impacting us. We should be involved. So please, citizens of District 5, you can reach out to me via my webpage if you need to do so. I appreciate you and your time and look forward to talking to you more.
Ms. Washington Smith, thank you. Mr. Woods.
I'm going to give you this example of something about me. About a year ago, I actually went out into the community and I literally got almost 300 signatures. I walked these communities because there was a 10-acre plot of land that I felt as though that should have been turned into a park and save the green space. When I went to my council person, and presented it to them, they never even presented it to the board. I sent out emails to all the board members to at least address it, at least say that you what you thought about it, and never did it get addressed. My point in making that out right now is that no citizen who you say as a city that you want your people to participate and give their ideas and help try to build a city, and you ignore them, you totally ignore them, you blow them off, that is unacceptable. That's unacceptable. I walked about 800 houses, walked. and they didn't even consider what I was trying to do. You don't do that to a citizen that you say that you want somebody to help you, and you just blow them off. Me as a District 3 candidate, I would never do that to any constituent at any time, because we are one family. We are supposed to be considering each other. There's nothing that can be done without District 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 sitting down at the table and saying, yes, let's do this. We need everybody. It's not just me. I'm not going to say I can do this, I can do that. I can't do this all by myself. I need the whole district, all the other districts, just like they would need me, for what they want. It's all one city. We're trying to build it. We're trying to make it better. So I want to make it better, because just as Mrs. Washington pointed out, we deserve better. We definitely deserve better. And I can give you better. And it's better is communication, sitting down, talking about the what, the whys and the why nots, and coming to a very good solution. That means getting something done. And that's what I'm about, wanting to get something done, seeing it and wanting to get it done. I thank you very much for inviting me to this forum. I appreciate it very much. I hope that I can bring something, and I know that I can bring something to this city, because like I said, when I was a union president for 7 years, I got voted in 3 times. I got voted. I had to get voted in. Didn't get paid a nickel. Why? I didn't care about getting paid. It's not about getting paid. I come into this because I bought a home here in 2018. I've observed and watched and seen and tried to participate. What I got is what I got, but no one should never get that. We're all here. We're all one family. And I want to see things move forward and get things done. I'm Herbert Woods, and I'm running for District 3 Councilman. Thank you very much.
Mr. Woods, thank you. Last, but certainly not least, Ms. Grimes with your closing statement. Go ahead.
Thank you so much, Mr. Carr. I'm extremely appreciative of this opportunity to be a part of this forum where I get to speak over this broadcast of residents and constituents who might be listening. I talk to D5 often. There are many things that have taken place during my tenure. And yes, better should always be our aim. And I'm no different. There's some things that have been learned. There's some things that I want to continue working towards to see it come up out of the ground. Now, remember, even though I'm elected, I'm still a constituent. There are things that I want to see. And one of the things that I wanted to see most was our apartment owners be responsible for the place that they give their tenants each day to call home. And so with that being said, there was an ordinance that was updated to go along with business licenses here in the city of Stonecrest. You got to do better. I'm all for better. You got to do better. And so I was glad to lead the way with that, our multifamily ordinance that makes sure that our multifamily unit owners understand that there's some things that are new and different in order for them to get their business license. And that's for the good of the group. That's for the good of those people who live and call Stonecrest home. Done a lot with code enforcement in our DeKalb County collaborative session. Of course, yearly budgets are a thing that have to happen. But that paving schedule and utilization of our SPLOST money, I hang my head. I'm proud of that. Constituents are extremely happy when their streets are paved and they're not running in potholes. There are certain streets that we, the city of Stonecrest, do not manage, but I want to say publicly, thank you, GDOT, for getting Farrington Road done, because that street, that road affects us all. We've had some personal personnel and procurement policy revisions that have proven beneficial, and everybody had to get in line. It wasn't just for some, it was for all. That again, that charter amendment for the home rule, to get and to hear what our constituents have been saying. Come on, y'all, do something different. We've done that. So we've listened. Celebrating people is something I love to do. Yes, I love to do that. Our Women of Wonder Gala, we do that every year to highlight the excellence of women in the city of Stonecrest. The childhood cancer awareness event made my heart glad this year. More people than we've seen, and that's what we want to do. We want to continue making better what we've done. Back to school toy drives and partnerships, that happens all the time. That's necessary for agents, for foundations and agencies out there that we can come alongside for our children who are in the Stonecrest City footprint. First responders, this is one of the things that brings me joy on holidays, especially Christmas. Those who have to be away from their families, since I've been in office, you get something to eat. You get a bag of ride-along treats on that day. It's a big thing when they don't get some of the public praise that they deserve. It's a little thing, but a big thing. And everybody over at Traditions Health and Rehab, they're always happy to see the baskets of hope. Just to make sure that I'm doing what I need to do, I continue with GMA and the classes and all of the training that can come along. We even this year were designated as a city of peace with a worldwide organization who took some things from Stonecrest to their Korean Council conference that they just had, given many proclamations. I'm still serving Stonecrest, and I still want to serve Stonecrest. I don't have anything to say other than we can be better. Vote for me, and you'll see what better really looks like. I am Tammy Grimes. I appreciate your time. D5, I appreciate you.
Thank you so much, Ms. Grimes. And I want to thank all of the candidates. This focus of Southeast DeKalb has been incredibly instructive. It's been powerful. It's been very informative. And I just want to thank all of the candidates for participating tonight. And if you are listening or watching, I strongly encourage you to go to the My Voter page of the Secretary of State and check your voting status. Know your status. When Georgia has purged 500,000 voter registrations, you don't want to be caught on election day with your voter registration not in order. So I highly encourage you to do that, and perhaps you might want to make a habit of doing it maybe once or twice a week or so. It is my honor and privilege to turn this forum back over to our illustrious chair of our special events, Hillary Lynn. Hillary, take it away.
Thank you so much, Kip. We really appreciate you taking the time out of your evening to be able to moderate this event for us. I do want to talk about how important city council meetings are. City council meetings are a vital part of local governance and are open to the public. We do encourage all of you to attend your local meetings and stay informed and make your voices heard. You can find schedules of the agendas and the information on how to participate on the city's official website. Please look in the chat for links to the city websites of Lithonia and Stonecrest. I want to thank all of the candidates and our army of volunteers who made this evening work. Thank you, Madam Chair. On behalf of our team, thank you to all the candidates and everyone in the audience for joining us. An event like this requires an army of volunteers, and I want to personally thank each of them. A huge thank you to our moderator again, Kip Carr, our Vice Chair, Larry Lowe, and our incredible production team operated by Lawrence Nathaniel this evening, and our timekeeper, Ms. Perry. I also want to extend a special heartfelt thank you to Gloria Moore. Gloria's strategic guidance was absolutely essential in bringing tonight's forum to life. While we are volunteers who present events like this to inform as citizens, we do have expenses and ask for your financial support. Please consider a small amount or a monthly reoccurring donation to power Democratic wins here in DeKalb. Please check your voter registration to make sure that it's up to date, and make note of these important voting dates. Monday, October 6th is the deadline to register to vote. Early voting begins from October 14th through October 31st. Election day is Tuesday, November 4th. And if there is a runoff, that will be Tuesday, December 2nd. A recording of this forum is available for viewing and sharing on our YouTube page, as well as a webinar recently presented on why local elections matter. These are in the chat. Please visit DeKalbDems.com to discover ways to engage in activities right here in DeKalb County. We are building our communities and encourage all of you to connect with them for local events and calls to action that affect your neighbors. Finally, it was a pleasure for DeKalb Dems to present this information to you tonight. We wish each candidate a successful campaign. Thanks for joining us, and we hope you guys have a good night.
Thank you.